legal status. Many people fail to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. Good afternoon, live from Houston, Texas. Today's topic is, what are the most common green card mistakes? Okay, happy to share this with you. Folks, my name is John Ting. I practice immigration law in all 50 states of America and across the world, helping you solve an immigration problem or maybe even prevent it from happening in the first place. Okay, so I love sharing tips practically every day, Monday through Friday. We're here live, 12 p.m. Central Time, as close to 12 as possible. Always have so many meetings need to accomplish and get that, help our clients move on and get their case filed, right? So here's the deal. There's so many immigration problems, so we're always happy to point you in the right direction. There's no obligation to hire us or anything like that, but keep this in mind. You may have a lawyer already. You may be trying to consider to hire a lawyer or even just have a consultation with one. Don't feel bad. Give us a call, okay? Here on YouTube and Facebook, you can see the number 720-740-4247. If you leave a message, you might get a call back from a different number. Our office is in Houston, Texas, okay? We're legit. We have an office. You can go to our Google profile and see between the Dallas and Houston locations that does over 300 reviews, okay? So please take a look. We really care about customer service. It's important to us. Now, what's important to the other important thing is that we have a mission, okay? Our mission is help people live and work in America legally. So even though you may be without status here, some conservatives may call that illegal. We try not to use that phrase, okay? You may be undocumented, overstayed your visa. There are solutions. You just might not like them, because sometimes the solution is you get applied for a waiver and have to go through constant processing with the visa interview abroad outside America. But for most people, there are actually solutions. It's just a matter of you understanding what the steps are, what's all involved, pros and cons. And so that's why we're here live and sharing information. So you're welcome with that in mind. You're welcome to drop your question down below, all right? I'll try my best to answer it in usually 20 to 30 minutes. The past couple of weeks, there are sometimes I go an hour, but I don't think that's going to be today. I have other meetings need to get to. So here it is. Today's topic. Answer today's topic: the most common green card mistakes. Okay, and just myth in general. Some people think that filing the 485 application, just filing it itself, maybe with other forms, but some people think that when you file it, okay, to USCIS, you mail it in. Okay, you can't do it online actually. When you mail it into USCIS, that it gives you some kind of quasi-temporary status. No, it doesn't. Yes, you file the 765 work permit, work authorization that allows you to work legally, but that doesn't mean you have some kind of quasi-status. So I know it's strange. You can work in the U.S., but not be here legally yet. But that's the purpose of this application of 485, is to allow you, at the result of that is to obtain resident status, okay? Become a resident of the United States, whether it's a conditional resident or a permanent resident, all right? So please check my internet. There's not much I can do about that. If it's staticky, it is what it is. But appreciate it. Let's see here. But if my sound's not good, let me know. All right. Now, number two, second mistake is some people think, oh, I'm here in the U.S. I have a sponsor. They filed a petition for me. That was approved. Let me go ahead and file the 485. No. Just because you have a petition approved doesn't mean that you're eligible to file 485. The key thing is the sponsor considered immediate relative, or is it family preference category? There's a huge difference because I usually try to show on USCS policy manual. I believe it's chapter 8, if my memory is pretty good, but it's inapplicability of bars to adjustment. So if you think about it in reverse, what are the common restrictions to someone becoming a resident? And that is failure to maintain status. So if your sponsor and you are what we call family preference, you likely are in a situation, and if you're in the United States, if you're the foreign national, the immigrant, beneficiary, if you're in the United States and you have a sponsor and you are the family preference, you likely have not maintained your status. That's just a general situation. Yeah, apparently my Wi-Fi is not good. Well, thanks for the heads up. Something just popped up about it. But yeah, I'm talking right now. Someone just asked, what am I talking about? There's a lot of things to share about immigration. So what I'm talking about is common green card mistakes. Okay. When people file, people think that just because your petition's approved, then you're good to go on filing the 485 application. No, I mean, even if the prior date shows current or on the visa bulletin, or if it showed up on the prior on visa bulletin, you think, oh, let me go ahead and file the 485. I'm here in America. I want to get the green card in America. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy. I understand everyone wants to get the green card in America, but a lot of y'all have to get it outside America eventually. So we have several calls about this. They already filed it. They got denied already. And sometimes actually the officer, whoever prepared this, sometimes they copy and paste. So it's not as, the language in there is not as understandable, especially if they're copy and pasting the denial reasons. But after we read it and share, it's because it's a family preference, and family preference requires that the beneficiary maintain their non-immigrant status, which, for example, is like a student visa. It can be L visa, another temporary work visa like H-1B, something like that. Okay. But most people, 99% of people that call in, they have not maintained their status. They overstayed. So if that's the case and you've been sponsored by a spouse who's a resident, then you need to wait to make sure. What's up with my internet? You need to wait to that your spouse becomes a citizen. Now, if you already filed a petition, that's fine. But what I'm trying to prevent y'all from doing is filing and mailing in your 485 thinking that you're eligible. Okay, so please don't make that mistake thinking that just because your petition is approved, that you're going to file that you can file the 485. So in one example I can think of, someone who's have the petition approved, and what's the next step? What's the solution, John? And that is, if it's family preference and you've overstayed your visa, which is again 99% of y'all, then you need to make sure that you're eligible for a waiver. Okay, 601A waiver. And some of y'all not eligible. So some of you are eligible, but may not have known the exact details of it. So that's number one. Number one is that you need to know if you're even eligible for it, legally eligible. And the first requirement to even consider is, do you have a U.S. citizen or resident spouse or parent? Okay, so some of y'all have a spouse or a parent who has status. Now, in this scenario where some people may not consider, like, well, I don't have a spouse, that's okay. But maybe you have a parent who is a resident or a U.S. citizen. And I know it's strange because for a petition, immediate relative, you can have a adult child, 21 years and older, U.S. citizen, file petition for you. And that's step number one. And then you speak to a lawyer, you find out like, oh, but my child cannot be a qualifying relative for a waiver, 601A. It's strange, I know. They should include adult children in that, even minor children. They should include that as a qualifying relative, but they've tried to limit it. So this was actually created under President Obama administration. So long story short, okay, sorry, go a little extensive explanation here, but the deal is, Even if you have an adult child over 21 can file a petition for you, there's no sense in filing that application unless you make sure that you have a qualifying relative for a waiver. Of course, all this being said, you want to make sure that you're eligible for that. Okay, all the way through. Okay, because there's really no sense of filing a petition if come to find out, oh, you don't have a qualifying relative for the waiver. But you want to make sure that you even need the waiver in the first place. Which, if you have a family preference situation relationship, you definitely need that. Now, but yeah, if you have a immediate relative where your adult son or daughter file for you, that's wonderful for step number one. You might think, well, isn't that enough to file for the AOS, adjustment of status, the 485 application? No, it's not enough. If you have legal entry into the United States, then yes, you can file the 485 when you have adult son or daughter, and you don't need the waiver. But that's what I'm saying, right? So that is another mistake. Having an adult son or daughter file for you all the forms, right? But you have no legal entry. So that's when you need a waiver. So failure to maintain status for the family preference situation, or you have illegal entry, no legal entry. All right. So those are two main mistakes. I know I mentioned the one before. I can't remember what that was now, but yeah, those are common mistakes. All right. And the thing is that some people ask, well, what do we do now? I have a problem now. What do I do? I haven't filed the waiver. I have the I have the interview scheduled. Can we withdraw? Yes, it is possible to withdraw the 45 application. Um, but this is really also for folks that, before you withdraw, of course, make sure with a lawyer, okay, immigration lawyer, contact one. Our number is 720-740-4247. We look, I just feel bad when people file something that they should not have filed. All right. And the deal is you want to make sure before you take specific action for yourself or for a family member, because you might be like an uncle or aunt wanting to help your family member, or you could be a friend trying to help out. You definitely want to make sure they speak with an immigration attorney, okay, before you take some kind of proactive action. Make sure it's okay. All right, so folks, by the way, if you enjoy the way we share content, answer questions, please tap the screen. Now I'm going to get into. There's so many green card mistakes, so I just wanted to share those top 3 for now. But let me. Golden Lady, my Wi-Fi is better now. Okay, yeah, it kind of cuts in and out on my phone for some reason. Okay, I'm going to answer some questions on YouTube real quick because it's easier to manage for me. All right, Big Wolf, you're an international student. You recently got married. Congratulations. Big decision there. You're in the process of getting your green card based on marriage. However, during 6 years, you've been working with ooh, buddy. Okay. Fake ID and social security number. Okay. Your next comment as a fake ID is from someone who never existed, is not a citizen from or a permanent resident. Yeah, you definitely want to call us. But in general, or any immigration lawyer, but in general is, yeah, that's going to be a different one because you want to argue that you did not falsely claim to be a U.S. citizen, right? If you false claim to be a U.S. citizen, then that's a permanent bar. So before you file any documents, hopefully you haven't filed any forms or package, you want to hire a lawyer to research that for you because, the quote unquote easy way to determine quickly if you're not eligible, you have permanent bar, is if you actually marked on an application, yes, I'm a U.S. citizen. That could be like the I-9 form. I've actually heard one of our clients that we had to take over from another lawyer a long time ago had mentioned that the government attorney for Department of Homeland Security had asked him at trial, have you ever marked you yourself as a U.S. citizen I-9? And somehow, I think she had this, that she had a copy of it, right? And so normally that's not the case. Normally government attorneys don't have these documents. But the fact that they asked that question, it inferred that they had that information. But sometimes they don't have that information, then they just play around with people, unfortunately. Um, let's see. Yeah, you really want to hire a lawyer to research that for you. And unfortunately, it's not one of those things like you can just Google research, right? Otherwise, you would have done that yourself. But and by the way, folks, we get a lot of requests like that to research for people. We normally charge 1,500, not to waste anyone's time, but yeah, it does require extensive time on it. So just kind of give you an idea. Many lawyers are not, I don't know why. This is interesting. Many lawyers don't like to share how much the pricing is. But if you think about it, it's really should treat it like a restaurant, or I don't know, Academy Sports. Like you're gonna buy a product, you would know how much it is. So I think that's important to us to share with y'all. Let's see. Hi, Raya. Your file applied. Okay, filed in April 27th, 2023. Okay, so about 4 months ago. Your case status is being actively reviewed. August 3rd. It says your record is not outstanding. Was next process. So I mention this every day because at least one person talks about their online account. Yeah, I would. Apparently, the online, like the My USCIS account, mentions that your next step is in 2 weeks or something, whatever the hell the next step is. But generally speaking, the next step could be RFE, request for evidence, or in your situation, depending what you filed, if you check that status based on the 485 application, then hopefully it's not RFE. Hopefully it would be just approval, this decision notice, okay? Which, by the way, online, I don't recall them actually saying that, that what's it called, that they say approval or denial. They just say decision issued or decision mailed. Okay, so hopefully that gave you an idea. So it is frustrating if you see that and then you're still waiting for it. Which, by the way, folks, if you have not received the notice and it's been at least like 2 weeks, you need to submit a request on the USCIS website as an inquiry. Basically, like their support ticket, you go to tools and resources. All right. Good afternoon, Anu. Good afternoon, Antonio. Anu says, can I file 485 second time after denial for one that's already been approved the I-360? I hope the office won't cancel the approved I-360. Well, I mean, yeah, in general, you can refile the 485, but it's more about the thing is, Anu, I think you're abroad now. You're in India, possibly. So 45 is if you're in America. So is that the issue? Otherwise, you have to file 824 to move your case file 360 to your consulate or embassy. All right, so hopefully that helps. But yeah, in general, you gotta make sure you cure whatever the denial reason is. There's no sense, and you know this. There's no sense in refiling 45 if you haven't figured out or provided the information they needed to cure your denial reason. Okay, basic not. You said you wrote in. You recently filed 765 online, and in my progress section, your account said biometrics completed. Okay, great. Oh, but you haven't even given biometrics. Is this a glitch? Well, wow, interesting. So this may seem like there's a total glitch in the system because, again, some people say like, oh, your next step is in 2 weeks, but okay, number one, what the hell is the next step? Number two, is that really going to happen? And so far, everyone who's messaged us on TikTok or wherever, it has not been accurate. So, but in terms of your question, okay, basic not. Have you provided biometrics before? If you provide biometrics before, then they're just reusing your biometrics in the past. All right. So hopefully that's the situation for you. Which, if that's the case, then the next step after that is actually receiving the work permit. Okay, Raya, please confirm when you're processing your I-130 is approved. Your case, my status is sorry, I try to rephrase the question a bit so that everyone else can understand. Your case status shows actively reviewed. Your husband lives in USA and he applied. April 27th. Okay. I don't think I see a question. Please confirm. Oh, maybe that is the question. Please confirm when my processing completed. Oh, okay. You have not been approved yet. Oh, you filed on April 27th. If you only, if, oh, your husband lives in the US. Well, did you file it with the 45 if your husband lives in the US? If you have not filed the 45, I highly suggest filing. You don't have to wait until the petition's been approved, I-130. Okay, but that's the 45 is what helps it fast track it. Okay, the I-130 by itself is going to take a hell of a long time. Like, even though I've been telling y'all every day on a live trend for 2023 is you're going to get typically average 3 to 5 months if you're eligible to file the I-130 and the 45 together. Now, if you're filing after the fact, might be a little off track, but you get back on track, okay, when you file the 45, even if you filed the I-130 already. But yeah, if you file, to answer your question directly, Raya on YouTube, it's probably going to take a year, okay? That's just for the I-130. Basic not, you file 765 based on pending asylum, okay. Yeah, it just depends on if you filed for 765 before, then they're just reusing your biometrics. Antonio, what's the chance of actual approval when your online account says 2 months to approval? It's been going down every month. Should I be excited or no? Don't be excited, Antonio. I'm sorry. That'd be great, but think about it. You think the USCIS is really going to tell you the truth? I mean, maybe they're trying to tell you that they're trying to be more transparent, but like, it's the government. Come on, folks. It's the US government. We're a world superpower, but we suck. We're so slow on these kind of cases with USCIS and waiting for interview, decision abroad. It's ridiculous. So even though US is world superpower, we're not a superpower in using ability to use technology for the purposes of immigration. And it's probably on purpose, right? Like, if they approve like some applications like the I-9 to renew, replace green card, I feel like that should just be like rubber stamp, right? So like, if we're in the year 2023, okay, folks, if freaking like the president of Ukraine can easily just share information with people abroad, like, I just, like, it's mind boggling. Like, yes, USCIS, it would be great if USCIS was accurate in telling us, but come on, if you have ordered pizza from Domino's and they have a pizza tracker, which they spent millions of dollars on, USCIS did not spend millions of dollars on this new feature they have on my USCIS account. So just keep that in mind. So no, I would not be excited. I'm sorry. Sorry to be a downer on that, but that's just as realistic as possible. Yeah, Antonio, I see your other comment. Makes sense. Okay, so I just want to switch over to TikTok real quick. So, do we help with VAWA? Yes, we absolutely do. Violence Against Women Act, which, by the way, if you are not a female, they are USCIS says gender neutral. Okay, so so you can, even if you're male or any other gender, you can file for VAWA, and we help with that. Okay. Mona, please tell me about asylum case you filed in 2015. Ooh, no interview yet. So if you're asking more in the sense of like filing a lawsuit, we get this kind of question almost every day in the consultation strategy session. Is that yes, we can file a mandamus lawsuit to get your interview, and it can happen like once you file a lawsuit, and it's based on that reason you haven't received the interview date for based on asylum. You can probably get based on our experience, you can get the interview within 2 to 4 months. Okay. In the LA office, when we sued them earlier this year, it was about after we got in contact with the U.S. attorney, gave us an interview date for August, actually. His interview date is later this month. But when we filed last year and for the LA office, asylum office, it was like in 2 months. So I think more people are suing based on these reasons. But yeah, generally 2 to 4 months after you sue. So you've been waiting, was it 2015, 2023 now? Oh my God, you've been waiting like 7, 8 years. you're definitely eligible to file lawsuit. So we're happy to help you. Okay, Stephen, here on a valid visa, you have pending I-130, can you apply for work permit. You can only apply for work permit in this sense based on I-130 if you file the 45. If you only have a petition pending, you cannot file the 765. And yes, USCIS can receive your paperwork and they may even accept your money. Hopefully, they don't accept your money if they notice that you don't have a 45 pending. Gene, how soon can I remarry if waiting on your removal condition on the basis of abuse? Um, as long the thing is, yeah, it bases sorry about your experience with your spouse. I hope you get all the help you need, safety planning and everything. Um, what's it called? It depends. Number one, it depends on your state, right? In Texas, you can wait. I believe the default is 30 days for cooling off period and remarry. But for purpose of immigration, there's no rules on that. But you definitely need to have a divorce order for your 751 application, which sounds like you filed it since you said waiting on the removal of condition. Sounds like you filed it already. But some people think another tip for people who are needing to file 751 and remove conditions, even if you're not officially divorced from the court yet, you need to file something, at least a petition for divorce. Okay, but even if you don't have the petition for divorce, you still need to file a 751 because if you don't, and the time period has passed, the 2 years, your case is likely going to get referred to the immigration court for removal, for deportation. So it is in your incentive to just file the application itself, okay, within the last 3 months before window period of filing before the 2 year mark. Now, of course, even if it's past 2 years, you can go ahead and file that application 751. Okay, it's untimely filing, but they'll still accept it. They won't reject. Look, they're not going to reject your money. USCIS loves money. Okay, that's how they get funded by you. Okay, they get funded by you. They don't get funded by U.S. Congress. Okay, so I know it's frustrating, especially if you weren't eligible, but go ahead and send it in because you don't want USCIS to refer your case to immigration court. All right, so that was a hot tip. Please tap the screen, hit the like button. All right, we greatly appreciate it because we get a lot of calls about that. But people wait, don't wait. Okay, sorry, Maria, I missed a pinned comment here. I went on my hot tip here. Okay, Brittany, how long does it take to yeah, okay. How long does it take to get my spouse over from a different country? What are our fees? Oh boy, from another country. Okay, from abroad. So it depends. Of course, typical lawyer answer. It depends. It depends on the pathway. If your spouse has a visitor visa, now we are not trying to encourage anyone to overstay their visa. I'm just putting out there that we have many clients who have overstayed their visa and got sponsored by a U.S. citizen spouse, not a permanent resident spouse, but U.S. citizen spouse, and was able to obtain resident status that way. And it's a 2023 trend that your decision, not going to say approval or denial, but decision is on average 3 to 5 months. Okay. And that's without a waiver. If it requires without a interview, which actually without a waiver is either 601A. But if it requires an interview in general, which is fine, having an interview is not a bad thing, but maybe because you need an interview because you didn't provide enough documentation. But the thing is that if it requires interview, it could take 12 months, right? Otherwise, the other pathway, okay, Brittany, is that it's called consular processing, and that takes almost double the time these days, like 1.5 to 2 years. Okay, so I kind of give you an idea. So, hot tip: if whether you're the beneficiary or not, you have to have a valid visa first. Okay, if you want more details on that, give us a call. All right, 720-740-4247. Again, we're not trying to encourage anyone to overstay their visa. We just want to share the law and how we've been able to help people. Success stories, okay? You've been married 2 years, okay? He doesn't have a visa yet. Okay, well, Brittany, give us a call because we'll have more tips for you. All right, so we can understand you and your spouse's life better, so we can give you some more guidance. All right, appreciate the hearts, and I think someone gave me a rose earlier. Appreciate it. Okay, Ning Hill, is it okay to bring lawyer for your actual citizenship interview? Absolutely. Even if you didn't hire one beforehand, you can hire one now. Of course, depending on a law firm, it might seem expensive because you're hiring one kind of in the towards the end of the case, right? Most lawyers prefer to be involved with the case, participate in helping you from the very beginning. We're different. We're available also for interviews, but it depends where you're located. Oh, Brittany, appreciate the roses. That's amazing. That's a lot of roses. It's like I have a bouquet of roses here. Okay, this TikTok thing's pretty cool. So hopefully that helps. Um, but yeah, if Ning Hill, if you're in a different city, not in Denver, Dallas, or Houston, then we're always happy to point you in the right direction and ask our colleagues or friends to consider helping you. Okay, depending what city you're at. Okay, Meldo, is it better? Can a K1 visa still be filed if the person has a record in their country? Okay, and I think what you mean by record is a criminal record, maybe an arrest, maybe a plea bargain, plea deal, conviction. Which, by the way, folks, a plea deal, even if the person did not commit the crime, it's still a conviction for immigration purposes. And even though the probation was completed, it doesn't matter. Plea deal is still a conviction for immigration purposes. Okay. It can still be filed. Um, but in general, for any pathway for immigration, a person can still obtain residency if they have an arrest or crime in the past. It just depends what kind, right? So if it's K1, um, it definitely triggers the Adam Walsh Act if it's a crime involving children. So you might want to check on that and check with your spouse or your fiance on that one, okay? So this is when going through immigration process, folks, this is when you really find out about your spouse or your fiance. They have to tell the truth, okay? Don't let them hide information, okay? You got to press them. Like freaking like Bruce Bowen of the Spurs, San Antonio Spurs basketball. You guys need to press them. Ask those questions because you don't want to you just don't want to get involved with someone who's got some kind of history that's going to, I get it. You guys love each other, but it can be frustrating. You start the process, pay attorney fees, pay the government fees, and then it gets stopped. It gets denied. So just think about that, okay? It's almost like you need to ask someone for their criminal background history, get their rap sheet before you file. Hey, it's like work. Work we have I was thinking about this the other day. Like you have certain parameters or guidelines or like for a workplace, and when you have a project, like certain things you need to do before you start the project itself, whatnot. like a scorecard, I guess, profile scorecard. Y'all should do the same thing if you're thinking about sponsoring fiance. um because believe it or not, I mean, we get a lot of questions about VAWA, but sometimes a person who is who's abused is the U.S. citizen. It's not necessarily always the beneficiary, the immigrant. So I'm more cognizant about this because I'm a board member of a social services agency in Houston. Okay, it's called DAYA, DAY. I'm a advisor, board advisor now, not a board member anymore. But anyways, just keep that in mind, folks. You want to make sure you get married to the best person possible. Okay, in that sense, good behavior. Okay, I was going on my tangent for a bit, but I think that's very important. Okay, let me switch over to YouTube real quick. Anu, yeah, maybe I'm wrong too, but 45 typically is adjustment status when you're in America in general. Uh, okay. Oi. How long does it take USCIS to respond to medical RFE after they receive it? Is there a possibility that interview might be waived? Yeah, I mean, just because you got an RFE on a medical, actually, because you got RFE on medical, it's leaning towards a interview being waived because typically in the past, if they send RFE, it's about actual documentation, not the medical. And when it did have interview, they would just send like a courtesy document, not RFE, just courtesy saying bring your medical exam to the interview. So if yours didn't say that, but it said mail it in, then you're more than likely going to have your interview waived. Okay. Okay, Rafi, what comes next after the job recruitment? You're on EB3 process. Okay, so during job recruitment, job posting, and all that, there's a cooling off period for 30 days. Then after that is the labor certification, which sucks for everyone. Okay, as the Department of Labor has it's like minimum 8 months process, and after that is the file petition, and after that is adjustment of status or consular processing. That I said that really quick. So, but if you don't have those steps on hand, we're happy to email you a free guide. Just we'll send you our team will send you a link. Just DM us with your email, okay? Renee, you have a pending asylum case. Will marrying a U.S. citizen affect you in any way? Renee, it might affect your mental state. I'm just kidding, but no, honestly, marriage is a big deal. Okay, folks. So make sure you buy a book called Fair Play. Okay, this is recommended to us because we have kids. But seriously, mental health is very important. Buy that book, Fair Play, because it's basically just delegating responsibilities in the household. Okay, loving each other is not enough to understand how to delegate to each other. But to answer your immigration question, no, it does not affect your asylum case. In fact, I would keep your asylum case pending. Don't withdraw it. Okay. We've had clients where we have go all the way through the process, get the resident card, then we withdraw the asylum application because you just never know what the heck could happen. So if you withdraw the asylum application, then your spouse sponsor decides not to go through with it, that's not good, right? So wait on the withdrawing of the asylum application. But the fact of applying for your marriage case does not affect asylum application. Cookie Cream and can a person adjust status within the U.S. on a brother or sister sponsoring? Yes, but only if you have maintained your status. So if you're currently here on another non-immigrant status like L1 through a company or your student F1 status, then that's fine. But you're likely not going to pay and maintain your F1 status because number one, international tuition is very expensive. Number two, you can only be a student for so long, so it's just not realistic. And thinking about the visa bulletin, take a look at the visa bulletin. Just Google search it, and it should pop up, and then you'll see that it's taken a hell of a long time. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick on YouTube and Facebook. But just let's see here. Present, share screen. Okay, so I don't know how to do that on TikTok, but if you want to see it, I'm on. You can go to greencardguys.tv. You'll see me on YouTube sharing this. I'm going to September 2023 bulletin. If you file your petition now, then it gives you the receipt notice, gives you a priority date. And the priority date that they're working on right now for F4 for not China, India, Mexico, or Philippines, but all of the countries is March 2008. March 2008, which means priority date is typically when you filed your case originally, your petition. So what is it, 2023 now? It's freaking 15 years wait time. All right. If you're from Mexico, the priority date they're working on is April 2001. So it's freaking ridiculous. So it's really unreal. It's not realistic to maintain your status for that long while on this. Okay. In America, I mean, while trying to wait on the visa bulletin. Liz, yes. Can you message for questions? Absolutely. You're welcome to message in, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok, Facebook, you're welcome to message in. To be honest, so what we're trying to do, if you do message us a comment on YouTube, honestly, it's difficult. Sometimes your questions require a more in-depth answer. You know how I like to give long answers. So what we're trying to do to make it more streamlined is I'll record a video, okay, on TikTok or YouTube, and then one of my team members will share the link of that video under as a comment. Okay, so just keep in mind, it just helps to provide more context by video. And what we did in TikTok is easier because you ask me a question, even as a comment, I can reply as a video. TikTok makes it a lot easier. Visa expired, but I-20 was active, so I stay now out of status. Spouse filing, will that cause problems? Okay, great question as well. So you don't have to, if your spouse is a U.S. citizen, you do not have to maintain your status. I know it's weird. Yes, you can overstay your visa when your spouse is a U.S. citizen. Okay, if your spouse is a permanent resident, it does not automatically waive the unlawful presence. So that's why I suggest if the sponsor is a permanent resident, then maybe wait until the sponsor is a U.S. citizen. Okay. Okay. User Amadi. After getting married to your American wife, she stopped talking to you and moved out. Oh hell. Sorry to hear that. Man. Okay. Well, what can you do? Well, I mean, this is of course public platform. So if other people are in this situation where you're married to a U.S. citizen, and it does not require that you filed a petition before or your spouse filed it, but if it's some kind of abuse, it does not have to be physical. It can be emotional. It could be financial. Does not have to be physical abuse. That could be eligible for you for VAWA, Violence Against Women Act, and it's gender neutral. Okay, so when I say could be eligible is because we have to have that one-on-one conversation. Okay, so that we understand your situation better. Brittany, what's my YouTube page? Green Card Guys. Okay, greencardguys.tv. I had a domain connected to it, so it's easier. greencardguys.tv. Almost forgot for a second. Let's see. Ito Jane. How long does it take the embassy to schedule an appointment? Oh boy, that's $1 million question. That depends on embassy and consulate. But even if you were to ask me for a specific consulate, unfortunately, there's no timetable that the government provides. Okay, it depends on their caseload, on their scheduling of interviews, how many applicants they have to schedule in general. But how it works now, which I think makes sense to some extent, is that in the past, before the pandemic, after you provide all the information, upload it to the CEAC website, NVC will document qualify and just send it to the consulate or embassy. But now they hold it. Okay, it's kind of like basically they're trying to improve their workflow. They hold it, your case file, until the consulate embassy says, okay, send me 10 more or send me 30 more. So that hopefully gives you more context in their workflow. But I'm sorry, I'm not able to give like a direct answer. 10 months or 6 months. It's hard to say. Yeah, it's already been 2 months for you. It sounds like since documentary qualified. Yeah, a lot of people who have been documentary qualified for most countries have been waiting 6 months minimum. All right, so let me go back to TikTok. Is it true that the marriage adjustment of status is getting approved faster? Yes, it is. It is true for 2023. Now, when the next president comes in January 2025, might not be the same case. Okay, might not be the same policy. All right. So that's why if you're eligible now, file now. Okay, don't wait. A lot of y'all call us and say, "Oh yeah, we're ready. We're ready to file." Now look, there is no obligation to hire us. Okay. No obligation. We're happy to guide you from start to finish or from the middle to finish line, okay, to get your legal status, but don't cut yourself short, okay? A lot of people call us like a year later and say, okay, I'm actually ready, okay? Don't wait that long because a president, as you know, from President Obama to Trump to back to Biden, a lot of things change with immigration, okay? Biden, fortunately, had experience with Obama, so he actually has been more flexible, despite what you may be hearing in the news, other than asylum situation, that has been more flexible with immigration. Okay, some of y'all don't know that, but wanted to share it. Is it perfect? No, there's no perfect system, unfortunately. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out, Sydney Summer. Siwi Neo on YouTube. What happens if your spouse refuses to go to interview days before the interview? What can one do? So, oh shoot. Okay, well, sorry to hear that. Okay, but the thing is, you really want, yeah, that's not good. Okay, right? What happens if your spouse refuses to go to interview? Then number one, a lot of people ask that question. Okay, and they say, "Look, I just want to wait. I want to wait for the next one. I'm going to contact USCIS and ask to reschedule." It's probably too late by that if you haven't done that already for rescheduling. Okay, but what you want to do is um, you want to try to consider withdrawing your application. Okay, because every time someone tells me, I don't know your situation 101, I don't know your life or your spouse's life, but every time someone tells me that the spouse didn't show up to interview, or does not want to, an interview didn't happen yet, the spouse doesn't show up to interview, right? So, and you guys got to be on the same page, right? So you might want to talk to a lawyer 101 about to see if there's any facts that could be eligible, have you eligible for VAWA, Violence Against Women Act. Now, I don't like to assume that that's the situation for anyone, but physical abuse is not the only type of abuse required for VAWA. So let's see. Okay, next. One more thing about that is that you don't want USCIS to assume that it's marriage fraud. So it's very important. Okay, that's why you got to mail in a letter. Calling in the contact center, USCIS Customer Service Contact Center, it's not enough. Okay, we've had to help people take over their case, refile a new case because they thought calling in was enough. Because I mean, I think a lot of the USCIS representatives who answer the phone are from the South, so they have a sweet Southern accent, and they're really really try to be helpful in that way. But there's no process for them to update, and it streamlines to the field office. Okay, so just please know that people make that mistake on accident. Oh my goodness, this is great, wonderful, wonderful. I see there's like 60 plus more messages, questions. We're very happy to help, point you in the right direction. If we share content answers that was helpful to you, if you don't mind tapping the screen, thumbs up, but also go to reviewtinglaw.com. Any feedback is appreciated, especially if you called in already and spoke to one of our CARES team specialists. They try really hard to be excellent in their work and being customer service friendly, which cannot be said for many law firms if you've called a law firm before. All right, so let's see. If you're married to a U.S. citizen and a resident in the U.S. and you're in for 3 years, how soon can apply for U.S. citizenship? Yeah, so as soon as you're at least 2 years and 9 months, you can file to become a U.S. citizen. So I know that we use the rule 3 and 5 years, but you can file up to 90 days within that period. Okay. Yes, I know some people ask a question. Welcome to ask a question on here, but I'm at the 50-minute mark, so I got to head to a meeting in like 2 minutes. So you're welcome to send us a message as a DM, but ultimately it's really best by phone. Okay, folks. So, but if you just want initial information, I totally get it. You can message us as a DM first. just so you don't forget about us, or your status. A lot of people have questions and then they forget to follow up. Okay. How much is consultation for us to help bring your spouse to the United States? So actually, um, you can go to greencardguys.com, and we do offer a free strategy session for 15 minutes, no cost to you. Okay. No cost for 15 minutes. And I know it's strange. You might be like, is that even possible? 15 minutes? Yes. Because our cares team member, when you call in or they call you after you self-schedule, they'll find out some information, and we're there as attorneys in the consultation to verify the legal strategy, but also share information that you may not necessarily find online. Okay, it's a real-time experience to share with you. So go to greencardguys.com if you're interested in a strategy session for 15 minutes, and click on Contact Us. Our website has changed a lot in the last year, so I'm just trying to remember the steps, which I guess I need to make a video about that. Oh, appreciate it. Oh yeah, I was actually doing the money sign because I was watching a documentary on Netflix about Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football. There's definitely something affecting his mindset, and I feel bad for people who depend on alcohol, or abusing drugs and alcohol. So if you're in that situation, I hope you get all the help you need. But he was definitely that documentary. I'm trying to say documentary qualified. That documentary was very enlightening to understand what someone's going through without judgment, of course. Fato Samb 5075. Can a green card holder petition for a spouse overstayed? So that was what I mentioned. That was what I was mentioning earlier. You can file a petition, but ultimately, if you're going to file the 485 application when you're a resident, USCIS will accept your money, but your spouse is going to be denied. Okay, because you have to maintain status. Now, if a spouse has been maintaining status, then that's great. That's a good thing. That's the difference between the F4 that someone asked about, brother and sister, is that there's a hell of a long wait time. What did I say, 15 years, more or less, because prior date shows 2008 right now for most countries. But for a spouse, the 2023 trend is getting your case approved in 35 months. Now, that is if you're a U.S. citizen. But even if you're a resident, still faster than waiting for getting sponsored by a brother or sister. So hopefully that helps. I think Brittany or someone else asked, what are fees? Just to put it out there in general for marriage cases, it does range from 40, I think 5,000 to 6,000 on average. Just kind of give you an idea. Okay, the way we work is a flat fee. It does not include government fee. Okay. Again, this is something that most attorneys will not share, but we just want to put it out there so we don't waste your time. Okay. But we're still happy to answer questions. Okay. We help you from start to finish. We offer several different benefits intentionally. We answer your phone, not the weekends though, and not after hours. But number one, you can email us. Okay. We use one email address for the attorneys, for the legal team. One email address. So if someone is sick or out of vacation that's normally assigned to your case, another team member can respond to your question. Isn't that kind of crazy? Isn't that wild? But we offer that, right? I pay more money for this kind of technology, this kind of software, so provide you better customer service, because Gmail does not offer that. Google does not offer that. Okay, so we make it as easy as possible. If you want to speak with one of us, even after we file your case, you can self-schedule an appointment. It's usually Tuesday or Thursdays, all right, for a certain amount of time. And sometimes you may just have a question that take 5 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. We try to work with you on that, okay? So the important thing is that we really care about customer service, that you know exactly what is going on in your case. You wouldn't believe how many calls we get that people are like, I haven't heard from my lawyer. It's been a week. It's been a month. I'm like, a month? A week? That's nuts. It shouldn't take that long. We're pretty fast, okay? Not in seconds, but I think reasonable. All right, so that's just a couple benefits that we offer intentionally. Usti, Can my father file for me while I'm in the state on a visitor visa? If your father is a U.S. citizen and you're under 21, then yes. In terms of, because when you say while you're in the U.S., I'm inferring that you're thinking about getting your residency in the U.S. Now, if you're over 21, then no, don't expect to get the resident card here because you have to maintain your status. So a lot of people, thank you for sharing that you're on a visitor visa. If you're able to change your status, non-immigrant visa, from visitor visa to another like work visa, then you can possibly get residency here. But it's about maintaining that status. So, which brings up a good point, is that you may be you may have, some people might have changed their status to, let's say, like another work visa from visitor visa, but but later had that second status expire, then that's not good, right? Oh my gosh, TikTok, it says lost connection. Well, I see the hearts, so it looks like it's good. Okay, my stomach is growling. I'm trying to find the pinned comment. Oh, there we go. Do we have payment plans? Yes, absolutely. Our deposit is 2,500, and we do ask for minimum 500 per month. And give people, which really try to be flexible. For some law firms, they require some law firms, to give you an idea, because some of y'all have not hired a lawyer before. Some require like all the money up front, like all the money. We don't do that. Okay. It's 2,500 as a deposit, then $500 per month after that. Now, if your case gets approved pretty quickly, like 3 to 5 months, then we do require the rest of that balance to be paid within 5 days. Okay. Of course, we're happy to be flexible, but I'm sure that's why many attorneys require full payment. We're just trying to be flexible. Okay. So appreciate the roses, everyone, Liz and Brittany. Let's see. Thank you so much for the questions. I am running out of time, so don't be shy, folks. Okay, you're welcome to give us a call. And I think ever since I've been doing lives on TikTok, we've been getting a lot more calls, so really appreciate it. The number is 720-740-4247. So with that being said, more calls coming in. Please leave a message if we don't answer, and leave a name and number. But otherwise, if you're a little shy for now, that's okay. Go to our website, greencardguys.com, and go to contact us, answer a couple questions, and it actually allows you to self-schedule. All right. And it does not require payment for that, the 15 minutes at no cost to you. But if you want more time, I think more than 15 minutes, like you just want to guaranteed more time, I think the consultation fee is like $199 or $149, depending who you want to talk to. Okay. In the past, I used to do all the consults, but as we have grown, I can't do as much. Okay. So usually I hop in and out for some consultations, but please know that we take hiring very seriously. So we have qualified, definitely very good, very well-trained attorneys to help you. Okay. Associate attorneys. So even if you don't speak with me directly. Okay. And also one other thing, that when you do fill out the form online on our website, or if you call in directly, please know that it's not an attorney. It's one of our CARES team specialists that you speak with. They're well trained to hopefully answer as many questions as possible. They're probably not going to be able to answer. Well, that's interesting. So somehow, for y'all folks on YouTube, somehow my access was removed. Someone said I was in violation. Interesting. Okay, well, folks, in that case, let me answer Seaweed Neo's question. What happens if you withdraw your application? So typically, it's not normal. It's not common that if you withdraw your application, that USCIS will refer your case to immigration court. But yeah, this situation, you want to speak with immigration attorney 101 to have more context, because so you understand what to write in your letter to withdraw when you mail that to USCIS. Happy to help. Okay, and Kazmita, how long to hear from USCIS after biometrics? When you say here, the next thing to expect after biometrics is typically the approval, the decision for your work permit, right? So after that, it would probably usually in general like 1 or 2 months. Okay, but in 2023, some of y'all have been getting the green card. Some people will get the green card before the work permit. If that's the case, then you don't need the work permit application anymore. All right, hopefully that answers your question. Kazmita, again, our number's right above. Okay, contact us. I got to head out. We appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful day. Okay, take care.